Good morning. I'm Valerie McDonald. I'm the Pitkin County Emergency Manager.
So I'm Brett Loeb. I'm the 911 Division Chief for Pitkin County Sheriff's Office.
And if you're not familiar with Pitkin County, it's where Aspen and Snohomish is. So we're a resort community, and our population goes anywhere from about 17,000 residents up to 50 during what we call high season, which seems to be all the time now. Well, to my fellow EMs who are listening in on that, I'm not going to tell you anything you don't know. I mean, one of the pillars of emergency management is that we serve all members of our community equitably. And to that point, we know it's imperative that we communicate effectively with everybody. But there have been definite challenges with that. But it's imperative, especially with public safety. And in spite of our best efforts and improvements along the way, we knew we were falling short. Situation initially came to light, at least in a glaring light, in 2018 when we had the Lake Christine fire. Emergency evacuation notices went out in the middle of the night in predominantly a Spanish speaking neighborhood. I mean, it was total chaos. And during all of our after action reporting meetings that we had, it became obvious that pretty much none of them were signed up to receive emergency alert notifications. And when we delved further into that, um, they didn't really know about it. We hadn't done much public outreach in Spanish, and if someone got as far as going on the government website to sign up for pick-in alerts, there weren't any directions in Spanish.
And really, what it comes down to is when there's an emergency or something big happens that the public needs to know about, that messaging comes to our dispatch center and our dispatchers. Um, the trouble is, a lot of times we can't even get the emergency message out in English because we've got one call taker taking as many 911 calls as they can as it's happening. Our dispatcher is coordinating all the units and the response, and the messaging sometimes gets pushed to 5, 10, 15 minutes after the event happened, which is just the way it goes. Um, when you add another layer that our dispatchers have to do of providing a translation to that, and with our capabilities, we're only sending it out in Spanish. Um, it it sometimes delays the entire message that we want to get out to 100% of the public by trying to take care of the smaller percentage that doesn't speak English.
Probably about 6, 8 months ago, a local reporter did a three-part, I'll call it expose, on Pitkin County and Garfield and Eagle. I mean, there's a lot of overlap between our counties, and we're all considered one big valley, which did uh, a three-part series on our deficiencies in communicating with non-English speakers, or more accurately, English as a second language people. And it was scathing. It was painful, but that's what made me remember meeting Zubin, who was the founder and CEO of ReachWell at the SEMA conference the prior year. So what we did with Zubin, it sounded like ReachWell was a good option for us and might be just what we needed, but as everyone who's sitting out there knows, it's just another system, and it's a lot of work to bring these things in. There's, it's scary. We didn't want to undermine our current Everbridge pick and alert system. You just never know what's going to happen. So to ease the pain and to give it a try, we set up a trial with ReachWell, and I set up a user group of about 25 Spanish speaking people, and some other languages were included as well, since ReachWell get your messages over 100 languages. So we set up a test group and we just pounded them with messages. What we had asked them to download the app, pick pick an alert and pick their language. And then we spent some time debriefing with them. Was it easy to download the app? And most importantly, the quality of the translation. And all reports were good. Well, like I said in the beginning, we really have an obligation and a responsibility to serve all of our residents equitably and getting emergency information out to that group is critical. I mean, if we can't warn people, the result is so much worse. So it's important that we do that. So it's the right thing to do. But as an emergency manager who was constantly getting beat up from uh, Latinx advocacy groups that would call me, or the paper articles in the paper. Um, I feel like we came up with a solution. I mean, we actually got it done and accomplished our goal with ReachWell. So I think Brett will be able to talk to that as well because he was right in the firing line with me.
The biggest benefit and value in ReachWell is having that translation piece happen completely outside the center. Our dispatchers send the message in English. Don't have to worry about any kind of translation, basically taking us out of the translation business. Um, and really that's the crux of the value. There's is to be able to have our messages available in 100 different languages, not just Spanish, without us having to do anything in the center while we're managing the crisis or the incident.
Um, we've done what we can to eliminate barriers. We kept hearing people didn't want to sign up on government websites, so they don't have to with ReachWell. They don't. They don't. It doesn't collect any data, and it's not a government website. So we've eliminated that data, and the translation has improved dramatically.
Um, so for us, really, it was fairly smooth. There was one piece that we had to convert that I understand is now corrected. Um, as far as getting it up and running, we ran a couple tests. We um, got some feedback, and within 10 minutes of providing the feedback, they had that fixed. So it was a really seamless process. Um, and they've taken our feedback. They've worked with us really well. Um, yeah, it's flowed into our system just about perfectly. And we use Everbridge as our emergency messaging system.
The way I look at it, it will be a long, slow roll. We're not just going to hit it hard for a month and call it good. We'll continue to push out educational information about it. It's the same as we do with our pick and alert system. So I think where we'll see the huge value, and it's not the way I would like it to go, but it's probably what's going to happen. When we do have our next emergency, be it a wildfire or whatever it is, I think we'll probably get 3,000 enrollments downloads that day.
And one thing to add, we put on the bottom of all the alerts that we send out the ReachWell information, and we do that in Spanish. So when we have that big event and they get an emergency message, they'll see right there, hey, if you want this in another language or in Spanish, um, download the app and the link's right there. So we try to make it easy, and we try to use that as our ongoing kind of advertisement for the service.
We went live probably 2 months ago, and it's been a success. I mean, I wish our enrollment numbers were higher, but we're working on that. And the bottom line is we've solved the problem of translating pick and alerts in a hurry. So it's there, it's available, and we're working on increasing our enrollment.